With us now is International Fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, Dr. Eyal Hulata. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's start.
Good morning, Anna.
Yeah, just the shocking news this morning. Can we start with Senator Graham's death? He was such a heavyweight in actions in Iran and a staunch supporter of Israel as well. What's your reaction to his death?
Well, definitely comes as a surprise, I think, to all of us. I mean, definitely, especially the United States. He was an American senator, first and foremost. And then he was a close friend of Israel. I think Senator Graham, for decades, have not only projected a lot of empathy and understanding to Israel's situation, but was not shy of backing us up, even in hard of times. Especially during the last few years when it became, unfortunately, more difficult for various politicians to stand with Israel. He never lost his sight on the ball, and his North Pole was very clear. I had the privilege of meeting him when I was National Security Advisor many times when he visited Israel or when I visited the United States, and it was always very clear. Even when he had things, hard things to say to Israel, he was never shy of saying this, but it was always very constructive and full of belief of the joint national security interests of the United States and Israel. And personally, I think as a nation, we all will miss him a lot.
Well, we've got this photo of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu there with Senator Graham, so I wanted to go ahead and pull up the post from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. If we can pull that up from the control room, and I can go ahead and read that. What Bibi Netanyahu said. I guess we don't have that. Let's see. Sarah and I agree with the American people over the loss of our dear friend, Senator Lindsey Graham. In our recent meeting, I said, Lindsey is a great friend of Israel and a cherished friend of mine. We have no better friend than Lindsey. Yes, apologies to the control room. It's just, I can't see it from that far away. I've got it here in front of me. Can you talk a little bit about the relationship that Senator Graham had with Netanyahu and how this will be impacting things happening in the Middle East right now, as polls show that American support for Israel is waning, and Senator Graham was constantly reminding us just how important that long-term relationship is with Israel and the United States.
Yeah. So first, again, Senator Graham had a close relationship with Israel for a long period of time. Naturally, most of the years was Prime Minister Netanyahu, that has been Prime Minister for so long, but also during the time I served in government with Prime Minister Bennett and Prime Minister Lapid, he was bipartisan in this regard. His love was for Israel. His belief in Israel's security exceeded political circumstances. Now, clearly, in this given of time, given the magnitude of issues between Jerusalem and Washington, I'm sure that for Prime Minister Netanyahu, for Israel, his loss will be remarkable. He has, as you said, served as a very close ally in this regard, a supporter, and he was helping, I think, Prime Minister Netanyahu navigate through this difficult times of the political situation in Washington when Israel became an issue not only among Democrats but also among Republicans, unfortunately. This is. I think this is very dangerous for the future of Israel. I think this is very dangerous for the future of the national security of Israel. Israel in the future will have to find ways to amend those the cracks, those wedges. Israel being partisan in such a way as we have been exceedingly over the last few years is not good for us. This is not good for our national security. Israel shouldn't be a partisan issue. The fact that Israel is not supported by a vast majority, unfortunately, of people in the population, I think there are bad reasons for it. I don't think this is making justice to our situation. But in any case, also for political standpoint, he will be missed. And I hope that there will be others who will step in to this. This is the responsibility of the leadership of Israel. This is the responsibility, first and foremost, of any prime minister in Israel to make sure that these ties are made better again. We cannot keep this rift as it is, divergence. This is not good for us.
Yeah, and seeing that photograph of Senator Graham with the late Senator John McCain as well, and we're just reminded of their hawkish positions there in the Republican Party, and just how much that segment of the Republican Party is going to be sorely missing Senator Graham. Again, our breaking news this morning: South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham dead at the age of 71. And Dr. Hulata, I want to get your reaction as well to the other breaking news that we're following today, is this tit for tat that's happening, this new kinetic action between the United States and Iran. The United States attacking Iran early this morning over this Iranian strike on a vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. It had set this container ship on fire and forced a crew to abandon it. Can you share your reaction to that and where you expect things to go from here? Is this the beginning of more, or is this just a back and forth, punch you, I'll punch back, and then we're done for a while?
Well, it's hard to say. I think this will be decided mainly in the White House. It is clear that the Iranians are escalating. They've broken the MOU. Of course, they accuse the United States of doing so, but the facts on the ground are that they have not opened the Strait of Hormuz the way they have committed to do, and this has been happening for more than just the last several days since President Trump decided to retaliate and to respond to those measures taken by the Iranians. I think, though, that Iran is trying to contain it. I don't think that they have the appetite for a full confrontation again with the United States or with Israeli participation. If they wanted that, they would have attacked Israel as well during those 4 days, and then Israel would be forced to come in. This happened for a day, 17 hours a few weeks ago. I'm sure some of the audience would remember that, and they haven't done this so far. So my expectation is that this will be contained. The president is very clear. He does not intend to let the Iranians break the MOU, but he also would prefer to see the Strait of Hormuz open and to continue to the next phase of the negotiation. I think that is very understandable given the circumstances at hand. I have to say that when I watch the way that President Trump is taking care of this, and when he is very clear with the Iranians that he will not let them break from the MOU and get away with it, I think this is a very serious message to the Iranians, to the Gulf, to the region as a whole. I mean, we in Israel, we know this. We know what kind of commitment this administration has to this situation. But I think it's also important for the countries in the Gulf, for the Saudis, for the Emiratis, for the Bahraini, who are getting attacked now by the Iranians, and also for the Iranians to know that they don't have a free ride here. And if they want a negotiated agreement, they will need to live up to the word that they've given in the MOU. And so far, they're not doing it. And I think it's important that the American administration is able to do this tit for tat for it. We don't need full escalation. It doesn't need to explode into a full wage war and highly intensified campaign, but giving the Iranian the message that they cannot just get away with such a deviation from the MOU. I think that's a very important message at this point.
Yeah, look, and the president is waking up to the news this morning of Senator Graham passing away, one of his, staunchest allies and confidants, and he's got to navigate this as he will with the Secretary of War and his cabinet members and all of his other military confidants as well. In the last couple of days, he has all but suggested that this deal is over. This interim memorandum of understanding with Iran is over. What do you expect to hear from the president today?
Well, you're putting me in the most difficult spot, I think, to guess what the president will say. Very difficult for me to put this at this point. I think what I can say is that from a regional standpoint, definitely from an Israeli standpoint, the importance of ensuring that Iran cannot continue to play by their rules. We've seen during the huge protest in this week, when they this burial week of the last supreme leader Ali Khamenei. When you look at what's happening on those protests, you see how the new leadership in Iran is attacked both by the people who oppose the regime, but also by the people, the more hardliners, who think that this negotiation is dangerous for them. Iran is very weak at this point. I think that keeping firm hand with them will deliver a good outcome.
All right, Dr. Eyal Hulata, thank you so much for joining us to weigh in on our breaking news today. This renewed kinetic action between the United States and Iran there in the Strait of Hormuz, and also the passing of Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, dead at 71. Thank you so much for joining us.